Hey guys, welcome back to Paracord Planet. This year we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the United States walking on the moon, and so we thought it would be appropriate to make a NASA Paracord Bracelet. So we're going to be using a trilobite weave. We've covered that in the past, and I'll link to a tutorial in the description, but we're not going to cover that in this video. So if you don't know how to make that, you want to learn that first. The other supplies that you're going to need are some microcord, some 425 cord, and a Type 1 FID. For the colors, I've got Solar Orange on our 425 and Imperial Red for the microcord. Let's get started. Alright, so once you've finished your trilobite bracelet, we're going to be cutting off small lengths of our 425 cord. These are going to be turned into the letters, spelling out NASA. 425 works a little bit better than 550. 550 just ended up looking a little bit jumbled. But we're actually going to be taking the core out of this 425 cord. So go ahead and make a couple inch section, just enough to make one of your letters, and pull the 3 center strands out. And then before your ends get too frayed, go ahead and just melt them a little bit. This is going to melt a lot faster than 550 cord, and then kind of flatten them like that. Just do one end to start with, because we're going to weave it in, and then before we put our last stitch down, we'll cut off the other end at the right place. So I'm going to be starting with the letter A, because we're going to have 4 letters, N-A-S-A. The A is just going to be right off center, so we can start in almost the center of the bracelet. That way we can get it centered across from the buckle. So the way we're going to be stitching this is a little bit different than normal. We're actually going to be almost sewing it in with this microcord. So go ahead and melt the end of that, big enough to get into a FID. And then just cut off about 1 foot of microcord. You can set your spool aside. And what I do with the other side is melt it down and then flatten it against a piece of metal, so we've got a little bit of a plug on the end that's not going to pull through. So now just about across from your buckle, we're going to be starting the A. So I'm going to go with this gap right here. I'll be coming up from the bottom. Pull it all the way through until your little melted end is against the bracelet. And then we're going to be making our letters. So we're going to wrap it around the letter A, and then go back down through the same hole that we came up. So I'm just going to make my loop first. And we can put our leg of the A in there. The NASA logo works pretty well for this because it's such minimalistic letters. We don't have to do the cross piece for the A. So there's the one leg. I'm just going to be bending back down like this in kind of a rounded V. So then go a couple rows over to the left. And I'm going to come up right here. So you can kind of split those weaves apart so you don't stab them with your FID, which I did anyway. Loop it around your A and go right back down. Like that there. And then I think I want our other leg to be right about there. So I'm going to come up in that gap right beneath that leg. Try not to stab through my paracord again. There's our A. Before we tighten that down all the way, we're just going to mark where the end of our A needs to be and clip that off with the scissors. So about there. Better to go too long than too short because you can always readjust. but I think that's about right once we melt down a little bit of it. Just barely singe the end so it's not going to fray. And then it kind of flattens it out too and gives the definition to those letters. So there, our A is done. Now we're going to move on to the N that starts the word. And I'll clip my cord, and then we'll do the other two letters going the other direction. And then this should end up right in the middle so that our words are centered. So to go on to the next letter, I'm not going to cut the end of my cord. I'm just going to keep on going on. So we'll need another piece of solar orange, which is the perfect color name. We're going with this light blue and orange instead of bright red and blue, just to kind of give it that vintage look. And the true color for the NASA logo is a slightly orange-red anyway. Singe the end of that one again. Should be good. So the top of our N should be about there. So we're going to come up through that gap right below it. There we go. I'll go back down. Slip the N in there and tighten it down. So in the N, we want, instead of diagonals, we want a straight leg with the diagonal in the middle and the other leg going straight down after that with a little bit of curves on the joints. So I'm going to finish that up and then give you some more instructions for the S. All right, so now we've got our N finished, and I'm just going to clip the end instead of running it all the way over to our next letter. So clip that about a 1/4 inch or so. And then just melt it down until it's close and flatten it against. And that should prevent it from pulling through. You can hide these stitches on the back a little bit better than I have, but I wasn't going to go to the trouble of that. I was afraid it would mess up the arrangement of the letters. But if that matters to you, you can tuck them under the back side of the weave. So moving on to the S, grab another couple inches of solar orange and gut it like before. And melt one end. So now to space it evenly, I'm going to be starting at the bottom of the S. So just kind of space it the same distance that your N is. So I'll come up right here. And pull it all the way through. And back down that same hole. So now the S is a little bit different than the N. Where the N goes diagonal, the S is actually 3 parallel lines with 2 U shapes on the switchbacks. So I'm going to try to represent that with how I'm doing the chord here. Go over to about here. Closer to the middle this time. I'm actually going to do one more on this corner. think I'm happy with that. So now I'll find where the end is and clip that off. Come up through first. So that's where our end is going to be. Clip and flatten that one. And then our last A is going to be the same as our first one, and so you can go ahead and do a repeat of that, and I'll catch you at the end. So there's the end of our A and the end of our bracelet. It's our completed NASA. We'll put links to all the supplies used down in the description. We put together kind of a shopping list for you. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and if you want to see more in the future, hit subscribe. We put out videos twice a week, so if you aren't getting those notifications, be sure to hit the bell so that you're notified every time we release a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. So there's our S and the A all finished, and that's the end of the bracelet. This one turned out, no, I'm not going to mention, turned out better than our test one. I should really moonwalk, except you can't see it behind the table.
Oh. Blooper thing.
That's all, folks.